Joey, okay.
Jeremy first. Thanks. Jake. Okay. Chilly in here.
Yeah.
Right. Are we all ready? Set? Yeah. Jeremy, if you'd like to start Sky Sports News.
Roy, nice to see you again.
Thank you.
It's been 9 days since Arsenal. Is there any better news regarding the injured players, and how good to have Andre Ayew back from AFCON?
Yeah, it's our injury situation now, fun enough, is pretty good. It's a stark contrast how it was a few weeks ago. The only players that we can't call upon at the moment are the two who had operations, that's Czech Doucouré and Rob Holding, and Joel Ward is still not back to full fitness, but he's actually quite close now, so I don't think it'll be long before we get him back as well. So it's pretty good at this stage of the season, just have those three players missing.
So, Olise available for Sheffield United, I mean, that's great news, isn't it?
Yeah, he's available, he's trained now, and we'll see. Obviously, we have to be careful if the sports science people are urging caution, but we'll see. He himself feels he's fine, so I don't have any concerns myself, but we will have to keep an eye on it because it is quite a long time since he's played the last game.
Yeah, Olise is obviously one of your star players, Roy. He's been linked with a move away, not in this window, but to United in the summer this weekend. I mean, what would your thoughts be on Olise potentially moving in the summer?
Well, my thoughts would be a sad day for the club, and I like everyone else at the club was delighted when he signed a long-term contract, and I'm certain that's what the club would like him to honour and would like to improve and build the team around players of his quality and Eze's quality and Gay and Anderson and Doucouré. These players, we need to build the team around them, make the team stronger, not lose them to other Premier League clubs who maybe are putting some money on the table. But to be honest, that's not something at the moment that really does concern me. It's these next matches that we've got to play and our need to get some points on the board to move us higher up the table and away from the relegation zone, and I'm certainly counting on Michael Olise for that, and then the summer will have to take care of itself.
Yeah, and on this match with Sheffield United, Roy, I mean, is it simply a must-win game for you as Palace manager?
I don't know. I mean, you never know the answer to those things. In must-win games, I've never fully understood what the answer to people asking you the question, is this a must-win game, is, because most games you go into, you desperately want to win them, and saying it's a must-win game doesn't win it for you. We're only going to win it if we play well and we're better than the opposition. They also are in a situation where they need points on the board, even more so than we do, so I'm pretty sure they're looking at it and thinking this is a game against a team in the same ballpark as we are ourselves, and this is a game that we need to win. So as far as I'm concerned, the beauty of football is that games are must-win games because teams need to go out there and get the points on the board that's going to either move them into a safer position in the league, or if you're in another part of the league, get you into the Champions League spots, which is also very important.
A lot was said after Arsenal, Roy. There was a firestorm of speculation, and that banner at the end, wasted potential on and off the pitch, weak decisions taking us backwards. What did you make of what the Palace fans were saying and what was said after that game?
Well, I've not spoken to the Palace fans, so I can't answer for them what they were specifically thinking about. It's a harsh banner. We weren't very happy, of course, that those feelings were made clear, and we're disappointed because we need our fans and they've been so good to us through the years. So if they're showing some signs of discontentment, that's something we've got to really take into consideration. But all I can do is to assure them that we are doing our level best to play the football necessary to get us up the table. We're doing all the things that we think are possible. I think the scoreline was harsh. The last two goals definitely changed the complexion of it. But the fact is, fans are very much entitled to their opinion, and their opinion should be listened to. But it was quite a generic banner, and there was quite a few things I think referred to in that banner. So I suppose they will at some stage make their feelings even clearer to the people at the club.
Well, what are the owners and Steve Parish saying to you at the moment about the situation?
nothing specific. I mean, you mean the owners? I speak to Steve Parish. I don't speak to the other owners very often. Steve Parish deals with that. He deals with the other owners. And Steve has been speaking to me this week, as he does every week. But before games, we have certainly a consistent dialogue. And a lot of it, to be frank, has been around transfer windows. We haven't actually discussed the Arsenal game that much at all.
Yeah, and on the transfer window, obviously you'd like a few more in before Thursday. Daniel Munoz, a Colombian right back playing in Genk. Is that one close, and how good would he be?
Yeah, we think he'd be good. I mean, we are hopeful that we'll be able to announce his arrival fairly soon. He's over here. He's been having medicals, but there's still one or two issues which have to be sorted out before we can actually say that he will be a Crystal Palace player. But we're certainly working on that, and we're certainly hopeful that will go through.
It looks like a really attacking, exciting, right-sided defender. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, that's the way. Obviously, we have two very good right backs, very experienced ones, great club servants, but they are perhaps more defensive-minded than offensive-minded, and we think that Daniel is a more offensive version, if you like, of a full-back, and I think that will add to our armoury and make the club stronger going forward.
Can you say anything on Adam Watson, a young midfielder at Blackburn?
No, I mean, I don't have any information to give you about him at all.
How important, though, are the next few days of the window, would you say, Roy, in Palace's season?
There's no sense of desperation at all. I think that the squad is good. I think that getting players back from injury now is going to make a vast difference to the team we put on the field and even to the way we play. So I'm not prepared to say at the moment that the next part of the season is going to hinge necessarily on transfers and players coming into the club. It's going to hinge more on how well our group of players here that we've got, that we believe in, can play, and they've shown certainly over quite a long period of time that they're more than capable of holding their own in the division. But of course, as a manager, there are always little gaps in your thinking when you're putting your team and your squad together, where you think it would be nice if we had another player in this position to compete and maybe help us move forward. So I'll be grateful for any players that the club manages to bring to us and which will potentially make us better. But I'm not prepared to say that our future and our chances of staying and doing okay in the league depend and hinge upon getting more players in. It will be more a bonus, if you like, than a complete necessity.
Just finally, Roy, Sheffield United are right bottom of the table, winless on the road. What do your team have to do tomorrow night?
Have to play well. You have to stick to our principles. You have to make certain that it's one of the next 17 games. I have to work on the basis that we have the group we have. We believe in this group. We think they can do well. It's not for me to suddenly make it evident to them that everything's going to collapse around us if you don't win this one, or everything's going to be great now because we've won this one. That's something which is your domain, and it's very, very different to my domain. My domain is to try and keep people's feet on the ground when it's going well, to try and boost them when it's not going quite so well, and most importantly of all, to make certain that they understand the principles that we try to work on and want to play, if you like. We need to see that, and to make sure that they understand that all the talking in the world means nothing. It's what you do when the referee blows his whistle and you cross the white line and there's 90 to 100 minutes to play. I think our players do understand that. So nothing changes for me in that respect. Whether you're playing a team that comes here and they're bottom of the table, or whether you play Man City and Liverpool and the Tottenhams and Arsenals when they come here, it doesn't change things enormously. It means you're facing a strong team, a stronger opposition, perhaps. But I've got to be very, very careful, and I certainly am much more circumspect about the teams that are so-called easier teams and weaker teams, because I've seen them twice recently. Sheffield United, I saw them having incredible bad luck to lose a home game against Luton, where I thought they were clearly a team that's going to win it, and I thought for large spells against West Ham, who were having a great season, they caused them all sorts of problems and could so easily have won the game. So as far as I'm concerned, we're playing a team that can go out against Luton, can go out against Chelsea, can go out against West Ham and give them very, very tough games, could so easily have won them. So why can't they do it here? We know that. Don't underestimate teams anywhere in this league. This league is still a tight league, even if at the moment you could be tempted, I guess, to saw off Sheffield United and Burnley, but you'll never get a coach whose job it is to prepare his team to play Sheffield United and Burnley, sawing them off. And people have already sawn off Luton so many times at their peril. You know, when we lost them, it was almost as if this is the scandal to end all scandals, but they've caused a few more scandals since then.
Thanks, Gillard.
Okay. Jake from PLP.
Hi, Ryan. Obviously, Jeremy mentioned there's been a bit of a gap from the Arsenal game. What, if anything, did you feel that you needed to work on with the squad in that break?
Nothing that depended upon the result at Arsenal. Nothing at all. In fact, for large periods of time at Arsenal, you know, I thought we conducted ourselves quite well. You know, the 2 goals were 2 set plays, which you weren't able to defend. The 3rd goal was when we were trying to get back in and they scored on the counter-attack from our corner kick. The last 2 goals, of course, were those things when we made changes, taken people off the field, and we conceded 2 more. So we dismissed that game in terms of anything, this is what we really need to do. We needed to do, I think, what we always need to do, and that is keep working on our principles, on our way of playing, make certain we don't let anything slip or slide. And of course, what we have had the benefit of in this period of time, we've had Olise training with us all that time, which has given us an option to do quite a lot of work on our attacking play, because both he's been there and Eze is now fully fit as well. So that has to some extent not commandeered our thinking, but it has given us things that we've thought it would be good to work on this now that we've got these players here. But there's never been a case of we've lost to Arsenal and come in and think, oh God, now we've got to start working this. That's not been the case at all.
Chris Wilder obviously came in midway through the season. Similarly with you, when you arrived here for the second time. Just from a managerial point of view, how do you go about trying to get your message across mid-season when you come into the players so that things can get going as quickly as possible, as opposed to when you arrive in the summer?
I don't think there's a vast difference. I mean, obviously the games can get in the way to some extent. The beauty of pre-season is that you do have a few more days and coaching sessions where there's no game coming up, so you're not recovering from a game and maybe recovering from your feelings about the game or preparing a game. But otherwise, I would say that, you know, your thoughts probably don't vary a great deal, and then I suppose it depends on what you prioritise to get your message across. Do you prioritise meetings and individual talks to the players and maybe sessions where you go through what you think should be done tactically on the board's not here at the moment, is it? One of those magnetic boards, or whether you're the sort of person who prefers to do the training on the field of play. You think all the messages you need to get across, all the things you need to show them and ask them to do will be done on the field of play. Maybe a combination of the two. But you have a bit less time, I guess, because pre-season does give you that nice feel. But pre-season is also a time where often the tactics has to be married to the need to get players physically fit again and give the sports science people the time they need to build up the fitness levels. So it's not as black and white as maybe, you know, one could think it is.
And just lastly then, what, if any, differences do you see in them pre him coming back and maybe...
No, I couldn't answer that question. I thought they were quite a dangerous team before. I didn't think they had an awful lot of luck. I don't think that they deserved some of those defeats which they suffered in that time, which left them at the bottom of the table and cost Heckingbottom his job. But I don't have any thoughts whatsoever on what's changed. I can't remember enough about the Sheffield United team that we prepared to play in the first game of the season compared to this team which we're preparing to play now, because I feel in the preparation we've had now, that's what's freshest in my memory. I've got a pretty good idea of what they're doing, but only someone who's close to Sheffield United could tell you if there's any particular changes.
Thank you, best of luck.
Thank you. That's the end of the broadcast section.